Okay. Okay, listen, people. This is what we're gonna do. All right, yeah, people, we're back. Technical difficulties are killing me, people. Absolutely killing me. But yeah, I'm just gonna preview the game quickly. Just gonna talk a little bit about it here. If you can hear me, please come back. We're here, we're live, we're still live, we're talking. I'm gonna give you a little bit of live like this. A little bit different, a different scenario, a different setting, but people are going through some technical difficulties right now. It's been a very, very difficult time for me. Bear with me, bear with the stream. We'll be back later. But I'm trying to get this content out for you people. Trying to show us some love. So if people leave a like in the comment section. Leave a like down below for me. Leave a comment down below. They can hear me know. Gamer Nerd says it sounds good. Big up Gamer Nerd. Peace of love, peace of love, peace of love. But yeah, back into the game. If I'm looking at previewing that game early, I think Arsenal have to not go. Not I won't want to call it making a statement because I think if you win any cup, especially for us that has been going trophyless for the last couple of seasons, for the last few years, and a trophy at any point so far this season would be a statement. Carabao Cup, I think. Well, you ask me. Let's answer the question. Let's get straight into it. Will it hurt or will it boost Arsenal? If we win it, it will boost us. But then you can't argue and say if we lose it, it won't derail you. I think it's a mental thing. It's really going to show a lot of confidence. I don't think it's going to derail us, win or lose. But I do think winning it is absolutely a massive, massive uptick. It gets the monkey off your back, and it makes you feel a bit more uplifted to go and win the Premier League or to go on and win the Champions League. However, the vice versa to that is if you don't win it, are you going to kick on the same way? And that's going to be the mentality factor, the barometer for this team. And I think this team has shown that they do have the mentality, they do have the character, they do have the withal to go and win it. So I'm very, very confident that we do go on and kick on to win it. But yeah, man, I'm very, very confident that Arsenal will be boosted by the Carabao Cup. I think the win alone against Chelsea will continue to boost us. I think now it's about putting together a run of wins. Especially, let's start with Sunderland. I think going into the Sunderland game, Sunderland's away record hasn't been the best. Um, and I think Arsenal at home have been the best team in the league and one of the best teams in all of Europe. Other than that Man United game, that was our first loss in all competitions at home. And that was the only time a team where we scored first in the game where we haven't won a game. So if you're asking me to look on form and you're asking me to look on what's happened so far this season, I'm inclined to lean that Arsenal are going to win this game. How confident am I? I think we're going to win it. I'm very, very confident. How would I predict that in the scoreline? We'll wait and see. But I do think Arsenal have a lot to look forward to going forward in this game. I don't know if Granit Xhaka will be fit. I don't think so. I think he's also still dealing with a niggling injury. I don't think he'll be back to fitness. We also have some injuries in the camp. We didn't see Odegaard, Saka, or Timber training today, which makes me think that we will see some changes, especially with having the tough week we've had. We've seen Gabriel Saliba play a lot of minutes. Will they get rotated? We saw Nkapia play a full 90 against Chelsea. Will he come out and be rotated for Calafiori, who did play against Kairat, but he only played 45 minutes, so how are his legs looking? But surprisingly, it's Kai Havertz. I was not expecting to see Kai Havertz get the start against Leeds and then play again against Chelsea so fast. It looks like he's recovering really, really well. That goes against some of the reports we've been hearing saying that he's had some knee injuries and some knee flare-ups that will derail his overall minutes for the rest of the season. But so far, so good with Kai Havertz. So I'm expecting Kai Havertz to be in and around the squad. So people, let me know in the comment section down below, who do you think is going to start for Arsenal at the weekend against Sunderland? First of all, let's get into the lineup for me. I know we can build this lineup together, people, as we get your comments in. But I think the defense and the goalkeeper pick itself, David Raya definitely has shown that he's the Premier League goalkeeper and one of the best in the world. So David Raya is obviously going to start in goal. With no Timber in training, I think this is a big, big one. Does Timber start, especially knowing that he's been through some injuries in his Arsenal tenure? He didn't train today as well from the reports we've been seeing. and he played against Chelsea, played before that. He's been playing a lot of minutes so far this season. I do think Ben White does give us a lot going forward, especially if Sunderland do decide to sit deep. So who I'd start over Ben White and Timber, just because Timber's fitness and the legs and preserving him for the rest of the season, I'd lean towards Ben White, who, when he has came in, has played really, really well, especially in that Carabao game recently where he captained the side. Ben White looked really, really sharp, really, really good. He's playing that ball down the channel for Kai Havertz to get that second goal was really, really well done. We see that he could put the ball into Gyökeres. Gyökeres gave him some credit for putting in those balls early. So we know Ben White is really good going forward. We know he has the abilities and capabilities going forward to help us. And I think it would be a very, very good factor for us in that Sunderland game, especially if Sunderland do decide to sit deep. So I'd probably lean it towards Ben White starting at right back. Centre-back pairing, I'd probably go with Gabriel and Saliba, because if those guys are fit, those guys give you the best chance to win any single game. We're talking about the two best centre-backs in the Premier League right now, especially with Gabriel. He's been on top form against Chelsea. He was ridiculous. Every single aerial duel, he won it. The tackles, he was tough. And Saliba as well. So you have to play those guys. It goes without saying, Gabriel and Saliba at the back. And then left back is the big, big choice. No, Nkapia has played a lot of minutes. He's been dealing with some injuries. You have Calafiori, who's coming back from injury. No, like I said, played against Kairat, but also we know he is susceptible to picking up injuries, even when you don't think he can be picking up injuries. But I'm probably leaning towards Calafiori starting this game, just because, again, just similar to Ben White, he gives us something great going forward. That chaotic energy going forward, that boost of energy going forward is something that I can't wait to see back into the squad, especially at left back. Him missing in these last couple of games is really when, I don't know if it's like the exact timeline lines up for me in my head, but I think with Calafiori missing from the side, I think this is where exactly you miss a bit of that attacking spark. Him going forward, him inverting in the midfield more erratically and going and carrying the ball forward. And also, I think he's improved defensively. People have talked before in the past about Calafiori not being as solid as he should be in one-on-one defending. But I think Calafiori has really grown into that aspect of his game. I think his defending has gotten better, and especially him gaining that comfortability and moving into centre-back, he also has been improving his defensive aspects throughout the season. So I think Calafiori definitely has a shot to be starting at left-back for me. I'd go Calafiori at left-back. In the midfield, I'm leaning towards Zubamendi and Rice, but I think Norgard definitely deserves a shot. Zubamendi's played a lot of games so far this season. I think Zubamendi is up there for one of the signings of the summer, signings of the season. I thought Zubamendi has been really, really good. But I do think you really, really have to be careful how you manage these minutes with all these players in the squad, especially competing on all fronts. We still have the FA Cup to come up. We still have a lot of games to go in the league where you want to keep guys fit, especially for that crucial run-in as we start to dip below 10 games. And I think when Norgard has stepped into the team this season, he's been excellent. Now, granted, that's been in the Carabao Cup and in some of the lesser games in the Champions League where we've been able to see him. But I do think Norgard has put himself in the hat to definitely get minutes at the back end of this season. Absolutely. So I'd probably be leaning towards Rice and Norgard just because I think he deserves the minutes. And like I said, with him in the squad, we progressed the ball really well through the central spaces. So I would definitely look at playing Norgard. Do I think Norgard will start? I don't think so. I think Mikel Arteta will probably lean towards Zubamendi and Rice. But I have my hat in the ring for Norgard. At the 10 position, Odegaard, we didn't see him train. We didn't see him in the squad again against Chelsea. There are no reports specifically on what injury or if it's an injury or if it's anything personal, what's happened with Odegaard. If you look at my channel, people know I'm one of the biggest defenders of Odegaard. I back Odegaard to the high hills, and I think when he's on form, I think he is a player that is very, very helpful to this Arsenal squad. Do I think he's going to start? If he's fit, maybe. But who I think is going to start at the weekend, I think will be Eberiche Eze. No, I think Eze didn't pull up trees in the Chelsea game, but I do think he's also one of those types of players where he could give you a moment. And not only that, when he's hot, he seems like a he seems like a player that relies on confidence. If he's confident, you're going to see the best of Eberiche Eze. But if he's out of confident, out of the rhythm, out of the form, his performances might suffer. And so far, through his Arsenal tenure, that's what the pattern has shown. When he's had a run of games in the team, he's been performing really, really well. When he's been out the team, he's kind of had to find that form and that rhythm again. And that's normal in the player. So I'm not criticizing Eze for that, but that's just the nature of his game. So I'm probably going to leave Abariche as a hopefully to give him some minutes, especially seeing the fact that Odegaard hasn't been in training and he also wasn't in the lineup last game. So I'm assuming that not Odegaard is dealing with a little bit of an injury. Here goes Gamer Nerd. Gamer Nerd said, where's Madueke and all of this? Get into that right now as I get into the front three. Now, if you ask me about the front three, Bukayo Saka, we see a lot of reports saying that he's not going to be in the squad up until the Spurs game. That there's a precaution since he was injured against Leeds in that warm-up. They're going to kind of hold him and rest him up until the Spurs game because after Spurs we have Chelsea, so that's going to be a big, big period for the Arsenal. So I do think Madueke definitely deserves a start. In the last Premier League game against Leeds, he got his goal, he got his assist, so it's credited to him. And I think overall his performances have been good. And hopefully now we can see more goals and assists start to go with the performances because throughout the season, even though people have been slating Madueke saying his end product, and even me, I think his end product at times this season has been very, very disappointing to say the least. I think his overall performance in terms of beating his man with the dribbling, his pace, his work rate, defensively especially, I think you definitely have to give Madueke some credit. And I definitely think he deserves a start. Even if Saka was in the squad, I definitely think about giving him a little bit of minutes because when he comes in for Bukayo Saka, he does have that ability to continue to pose a threat down the right-hand side, take the ball past people, and really, really cause a threat. And that's ultimately what you want in a winger when Bukayo Saka is not there. How much of a threat can you be to the defense? So when we say we have Trossard on the opposite side or Martinelli on the opposite side, it doesn't become that we're so one-sided. We can still have a very, very balanced game, especially attacking down those channels. Elliot on TV says, are you going to smash them? Sunderland aren't good away from home. I have to say that, but I'm going to get into my score predictions when I get into the lineup. But I do think I'm very, very confident that Arsenal will pick up the 3 points at the weekend, especially coming off the back of this Chelsea victory. I think this is a really, really good time for us, and I think it's a time that we should be looking to get the 3 points against Sunderland, especially, Elliot, as we talk about their home record. They have their away record, sorry. They're a different team when they go away on the road. We saw West Ham put 3 past them, so I'm very, very confident that Arsenal can definitely get the victory at home at the Emirates against Sunderland. But touching on that front three, I'd definitely go Noni Madueke on the right. On the left wing before I get to striker, because that's going to be the big talking point. You people can let me know early in the comment section who starts at striker for you. I think that's going to be really what a lot of people are going to talk about. For me, I'm going to go with Martinelli on the left wing. People are going to say, oh, why not Trossard? Why not Trossard? I just think Martinelli's coming into a really good period for himself. He's scoring goals. He's getting assists. He's causing a threat against Chelsea. He was a really, really good, big threat. He was a danger before that against Leeds when he came off the bench. He got the assists, and his pace is absolutely threatening. And one thing about Martinelli, his one-on-one game is improving. People are not really highlighting that much, but I think his one-on-one game is improving. He's looking to take on his man now. He's looking to get down to the byline, put crosses in left foot or right foot. And he's really, really improving his game so far this season, man. He's stepping up his tally. He's on pace to still either match or surpass his highest ever Arsenal tally in the Premier League season with 15 goals. So I think Martinelli definitely deserves a start on the left wing. And I think with Calafiori, I think that would be a very, very good pairing. You have that bit of dynamism on that left-hand side, to say the least. So I'm looking forward to see what Martinelli could bring to the team, especially from a start as a starter. But yeah, people, who would start up front? It's going to be a big, big controversy. Okay, so let's start off with the guy I haven't named, who's, to be surprisingly, hasn't played striker since he came back into the team. He's more played in the midfield, but that's Kai Havertz. Does Kai Havertz start up front in this game? He gives you an aerial presence, and he also gives you that bit of technicality, that bit of suave on the ball, that bit of dynamism on the ball. Does Kai Havertz start up front? Again, I'm still questioning if his legs can play this much games in a row. Can he play these minutes? And I'm not saying that I'm a physical expert and I know how many minutes these guys should be playing each week. But that's the question I'm asking. Can Kai Havertz go again? Especially with a lot of the reports saying that he has been injured or are battling this knee problem and battling this knee flare. So I don't think Kai Havertz gets to start in this game, but I do think Kai Havertz definitely has a role to play in the game, especially, like I said, with Eze from the start. I definitely do think Kai Havertz will come off the bench and have some massive impact or role into this game. Secondly, I think it's going to come down to either Gabriel Jesus or Viktor Gyökeres. And it's like I said, people, these are the great problems to have. And I said it in one of my previous videos. I want to be coming in here every week after Gyökeres gets a goal from the start. Jesus comes off the bench, bags himself, or vice versa, like the Inter Milan game. Jesus bags a brace, boom, Gyökeres bags a goal for himself to put his name back in the hat to show Arteta, yes, I'm the guy you could count on. You bought me for 55, 60 million. I am the guy for this team to get you over the line. Who do I think will start? I think Gabriel Jesus will start, but for me personally, with that lineup, I'd probably go Viktor Gyökeres. Now, let me tell you first why I think Gabriel Jesus will start, but then let me tell you why I think Viktor Gyökeres should start. I think Gabriel Jesus is going to start because he has the ability to drop off that line, and especially when you're looking at guys who are very, very direct, who are going to get chances to run in behind, like a Martinelli, like a Noni Madueke. When they boost beyond, you have a guy in Jesus who can drop down, play the false line position, link up with the Eze as a two-man combo in the midfield to really, really draw opponents in, and then maybe play those balls in behind for a Noni, for a Martinelli with their pace. You're also looking at about his work rate in to credit to Gyökeres, he's also been showing a lot of ready desire to track back and help his team defensively. But Gabriel Jesus also gives you that work rate. And it's really about the dynamism and that fluidity in the front three. You have Martinelli who can move into a central space. Gabriel Jesus can pull out wide. Noni Madueke can pick up that central space, and Gabriel Jesus pulls out wide. Gabriel Jesus' link-up play is really, really good. His hold-up play is very, very underrated, Gabriel Jesus. So I do think Gabriel Jesus will start, especially with expecting Sunderland to be sitting deep in a low block. He might give Sunderland the biggest threat. But I do think Viktor Gyökeres, as a battering ram, you really want to put Viktor Gyökeres in from the start. And I do think with how I lined up in this team, it suits Viktor Gyökeres. And that's something I've been thinking about all week. If you have a Ben White who's going to put the ball in, you have Noni who's going to put the ball in, you have Martinelli who's going to put the ball in, Calafiori who's going to create chances and put the ball in, Eze who's going to be looking to play those balls centrally, with Zubimendi and Rice in behind. I think the team structurally around Viktor Gyökeres for this specific game in how Sunderland are also going to set up. There might not be a lot of space for him in behind, but to get the ball in the box early, I do think Viktor Gyökeres can have a lot of chances and a lot of freedom in this game. And I expect him to start, and I expect, like I said, Jesus to start, but even off the bench, once the game gets stretched and Sunderland might be chasing a goal, I think Viktor Gyökeres might have an impact in this game. So, from any form or fashion, I think Viktor Gyökeres is a very good player to be looking out for. If people like any parlays or do any parlays, I put Viktor Gyökeres for a goal this game. I do think whether that's from the start or a goal off the bench, I do think Viktor Gyökeres is going to be a serious threat in this game. But yes, people, that's how I'd probably line up for the Sunderland game. I'd go Ryan goal with Ben White, with Gabriel Saliba, Calafiori at left back. I'd go Zubimendi and Rice with Eze in front, and I'd go Noni, I think Jesus, but I'd go Gyökeres and Martinelli off the left. Now, score prediction before I wrap up here, people, with you guys. I do think Arsenal are going to dominate the game in terms of possession. What I'm looking for is how Arsenal gonna really dominate the game. Is it gonna be one of those games we see majority of the season where we've been holding possession, but we don't really create much chances, or is it gonna be one of the games where we see against Leeds where I wouldn't say we battered Leeds' goal, but we were clinical in terms of our taking our chances, and which opened up the game for us. But I thought against Leeds we were going vertical early. The ball was going into Gyökeres' feet early. His hold-up play was very, really decent. We were playing off of Gyökeres from there. Noni Madueke was brilliant in terms of how he was getting past his man constantly. And I do think I want to see us play more centrally, play forward a bit more, play with that bit of intent. And I do think goals will come, especially being at home. You wanted to put the last Premier League performance at home, right? Especially losing in such fashion to Manchester United. I think that will really kind of wipe the taste out of people's mouth and say, okay, Arsenal are back on form. That Man United game was just a blip. And I think this is one of the final hurdles, not final hurdles, but one of the hurdles you want to get over in terms of really silencing that narrative behind you, because City have to play Liverpool at the weekend. You put 9 points on the board for them to look at before that Liverpool game for Manchester City. You're really starting to ask Manchester City a lot of tough questions, and really starting to ask rivals and others a lot of tough questions if they don't believe Arsenal are going to win the league yet. And you really start to answer a lot of doubts saying within yourself. If the league becomes 9 points, you can't really doubt Arsenal from that standpoint. You really have to give this team a lot of credit. So for me, ladies and gentlemen, I do think if Arsenal do get the opportunity to go 9 points clear, it's a chance where you have to take it. KP, you've joined us, my brother. You joined us, my guy, my guy, my guy. I was just talking to the people of them. I was getting the previews for Sunderland. Let me know what would be your lineup. I don't know if you heard my lineup before, but I'm gonna run through it quickly just so you could hear it. I went Raya in goal. I went Ben White right back. I went with Gabriel and Saliba. I went with Calafiori left back. I went with Zubimendi and Rice, but I gave Norgard a show. I do think Norgard deserves some minutes in there. I do think, especially with him stepping in, if you want to rest Zubimendi, I think you still think you get that central progression. I went with Eze at the 10 because obviously we haven't seen Odegaard, and I don't know if Havertz's knees and how his fitness is going to stand up playing so many games in a short space of time. So I go Eze in the 10. I went with Noni off the right, Martinelli off the left. And personally, I do think this is a game that could be for Gyökeres, but I do think Mikel Arteta will lean Gabriel Jesus. What don't you like about that lineup? Because I already see from your face you don't like something there, man. Tell me about it.
No, I literally start the same lineup. I'm not even trying to act like I'm joking because I might have sent this to you, or I might have I'll send it to you now, in fact, just to show you that I'm not bugging out. No problem. But yeah, first of all, sorry for my lateness, man. Obviously, I'll be honest, I fell asleep. So
Nah, bro, it's calm, bro. I was running into a lot of
that's
technical difficulties, man. There was a peak, but we're here now. We're here
yeah, I
now.
see that the stream started or something. But anyways, don't matter. Yeah, I'll go exactly the same team. Like I know there's a shout for Gyökeres, to be honest, and I'm not really bothered if he does start because I think he's been in the best form of all the strikers. But I think the problem is that low block, that nasty low block that obviously Sunderland play, and I'm thinking Jesus would be fit for that. I think Martinelli. Maybe Martinelli's not the only one, but maybe I'll bring in Trossard just because I feel like because it's a low block team, I think Trossard does well against that type of team where you have Noni who's more the erratic one and Trossard who's more like that kind of calmer one. Do you know what I mean? Who's
Yeah.
more technical, yeah. But the rest of the team, yeah, I would bring in Calafiori and White for Timber and Cappy. Not that I'm dropping them, just more. I think they're more attacking fullbacks, more quality final pass. So that's there. And Eze keeps the space. Yeah, with that.
Yeah. And I was really thinking about something I heard. It might have been you I heard you talk about, honestly. I think with Gabriel Jesus and with Eze as a two-man tandem, I think that's something Mikel Arteta might be looking at. But I do think the whole you're set up structurally around in this team, I think it might be a better suited team around a player like Viktor Gyökeres because I expect the ball to go into the box early, especially with guys like Martinelli, Madueke on the wings. And you also have Ben White and Calafiori who are, like we said, they like to get forward, they like to put the ball into the box, especially with Eze in the 10, who's going to play those central passes. I think there's going to be a lot of chances, hopefully, for a bit to Gyökeres, and they might come in different forms and fashions, especially based off the Leeds game. Especially in that Leeds game, we were trying to go forward into Viktor Gyökeres' feet very early, playing the ball over the top, playing whether that's directly into his feet, playing through the channels, the ball going in there early. So I think there's a lot of positives and a lot of things to look forward to from an Arsenal perspective. A lot of people were saying that we might score a lot of goals, KP. Before I got into my prediction, before I get into your prediction, do you think that the Carabao Cup will boost or hurt Arsenal? Because this is a question I was asking a little bit earlier. I said it's a competition that if you win it, it can propel you. But I don't expect for this Arsenal team, if we were to lose for some miraculous reason against City in the final, that it derail us from winning the Premier League. I can't see that happening. But if you were to pick on or lean on one end of the spectrum, do you think the Carabao Cup win or lose, sorry, do you think that boosts or hurt Arsenal going forward?
Um, yeah, win 100%. I think it will boost. Just because obviously I think this iteration of the Arsenal squad hasn't won together. So even though that's not the main one that we're going for, or the only one we're going for, I think just getting that taste, that experience will help a lot. I think most other teams have won something together, so maybe that loss doesn't necessarily derail. I think if we also lose, I don't think it will derail our season. Probably because I think we should have a sustainable and substantial lead in the Prem by the time that game's played. Normally the Carabao Cup finals played in February, but because it's played at the end of March, I think it kind of changes things. I think it's right before the March international break. I think the negative it can play because we are playing both Arsenal and City still have all four competitions to go for, innit? So if City was to beat Arsenal in that final, it could give them an advantage and maybe mentally, in terms of just having that one up. But I don't think it will derail at least the league. So, and I think that's the main, the bread and butter.
Yeah, and I agree with you, especially because looking at the Sunderland game, they play Liverpool at the weekend. If we go into this, if we beat Sunderland, and before even City kick a ball, they're looking at 9 points on the board going into a massive game at Anfield. No, I'm not saying City might not win that game. They very well could go on and beat Liverpool at Anfield. Who knows? You know? But we've been in title races before, KP, and we know what it feels like to start to fall behind in the title race, and then you start to tell yourself, it's gonna be it. This is a big ask to ask the team to come back from such a tough points differential, especially when there's absolutely zero margin for error. And especially when you look at Manchester City's defense, they've been giving up a lot of goals, they give up a lot of chances. But KP, I want to go and ask you based off of that to how I previewed an early preview based on that final. For me, I said Arsenal could go into that game, and I'm not saying make a statement. I don't want to, because if you win, no matter how you win, it's going to be a statement, absolutely. But I don't think you should approach that game pragmatically, especially knowing the fact that you can get at City and you should have a very strong defense. No, I'm not saying go on and leave yourself open and get battered or whatever the case may be. But I think there's an opportunity there to go and really put down the mark and really instate your intent, especially that late in the season with the attacking intent. We're hopefully building up until that point in the Carabao Cup final. How do you think that game is going to go as an early precursor? And how is your overall feeling now that we have City in the final?
I want City in the final. That's the team I want to beat. I want Mikel to beat Pep. I need that payback for the 2018 final, and just any time City have beat us, even though we kind of go over that hurdle. How the game's gonna go, I don't really know. Obviously, Arsenal City games have kind of been kind of chess matches in the last couple of years, so I'm probably anticipating two tactical managers trying to outsmart each other. I think Arsenal will lean on the physical side, and obviously City will be wary that Arsenal have that advantage. But it depends on the form the teams are in coming that way. It's so far away now. There's still a lot of football to be played between them. And let's just say, for example, Arsenal do what we expect them to do. Like the league, not saying the league can be wrapped, but it could be in a very, very position where it's basically almost wrapped by that point in time. And I think that can change things. I think I think I would have played at least against Wigan, and I think Champions League 1-16 might have been no, I don't think it'll be maybe it might be started by that time. So it all depends on
it would have been started, because if we played a final, I think there's a lot of people saying that if we beat City or around about the same time, if the draw ends up a certain way, we might play City in a quarterfinal, which might be around the same 3 week span. So I've been seeing that go around. So we would have had to play the quarter round of 16, and then probably end up in a quarterfinal against City, depending on how the draw goes. So that might set up a really, really good set of fixtures too.
Yeah. That's actually crazy when I didn't even know that, but I think it just depends on the day. I'm confident Arsenal will win though, like that as much, but I think depending on how the game's gonna go, seeing how Pepper's pulled up a trick up his sleeve in many a final, and we don't know, we haven't seen Mikel in the final for a long time against his, the one guy. Do you know what I mean? This is gonna be interesting though.
Mm-hmm.
But that's got obviously. I know that game's a bit far away, so it will lead up to it.
We will definitely lead up to it, but it's always good to hear your thoughts looking at that game from an early perspective, because people are already looking at saying, "Oh, Arsenal didn't win their game in a canter like Man City," and even though City have their doubts, they still put on a show. They beat Newcastle 3-1. But I thought Newcastle should have at least put 2 or 3 goals on the board themselves. I think City left a lot of chances open there again for Newcastle as well that they didn't capitalize on. And again, I keep saying this: City don't do that to Arsenal. City don't allow that with Arsenal, because when they did last season, we beat them 5-1 at the Emirates. And I'm not saying this to toot my own horn or toot Arsenal's horn, but I think throughout this season, when this narrative has been plagued against us that we don't score enough goals or we're boring to watch, any team that has really come and really tried to put it on us and really try to take the game to us and allowed us to attack space, more times than not, we've beaten those teams and really, really should beaten them convincingly. So I don't think Manchester City, especially at the rate they give up chances, will come and do that, because we've seen what they did at the Emirates this season. I was talking about my experience when I went to the Emirates this season. I saw them. City were sat behind the ball majority, especially after they got their goal. And that's something that you don't normally see in a Pep
2 banks
Guardiola
of
team.
5. Yeah.
You never really see that in a Pep Guardiola team. So it's very, very interesting to see how this game will go. Because again, like you said, it's been chess matches every time these teams go up against each other. So it's going to be very, very interesting to see how not only we go into this game, but Pep Guardiola going into that game. But yeah, KP, previewing Sunderland, we know it's, like I said, it's a massive, massive opportunity for Arsenal to go 9 points clear. What's your predictions of the Sunderland game? I don't think they're gonna have Granit Xhaka. We know about their away form as well. They've been pretty spotty. Conceded 3 goals to West Ham. We know they're a different side away from home than when they're at home. We played them at home, and even though we tied that game 2-2, we should have come up with all 3 points because it came down to a last minute Robbie winner or our own goal. I can't remember how it was. But I think Arsenal should be looking on to should be looking to put a statement down and really show their intent in this game. KP, what are your thoughts going into this massive game against Sunderland?
Obviously, first of all, shout out Sunderland. I think they're having an amazing season. What, eighth place right now?
Yeah, yeah,
Obviously,
yeah.
yeah. Obviously, I like the players that they have. Yeah, as you said, they're a different team at home than they are at home. I think they're beast at home, and they've literally dropped all their points in the Premier League. I'm pretty sure the draws and well, but for a couple of draws at home, all the draws and the losses have come away from home. So I think that if you're looking statistically for form wise, that gives you confidence. Obviously, yeah, they're without Granit Xhaka because he's injured till a couple of weeks' time, so that's obviously beneficial because I'm pretty sure he would have loved to ball out against us, even though could have derailed our Premier League hopes because of
Absolutely.
he hasn't played in Emirates in a couple of years. But yeah, they have obviously Bobby's in decent form. They have good players. Still, I think Ballard's back from injury. They're probably going to rock up with a nasty 5-4-1. We know the physical specimens that they do have in their team that are able to kind of match up with us well. But as I said, it's different away from home. And Arsenal currently, I'm saying, off the back of qualifying for that final 3 wins in a row. Our last home Premier League game was a loss, so I'm pretty sure we're on the
Yeah,
wrong that, right? And playing
absolutely.
before City go against Liverpool, which I'm pretty sure 9 out of 10 Arsenal fans anticipate City not getting the 3 points at that ground. So we have a chance to go 8 points, if not 9 points clear this weekend for a good win. And as I say, all the omens are going there. Obviously, I guess the only caveats, obviously, I've got always played devil's advocate is Saka injury, Odegaard questionable. But outside of that, I think the team has enough tools to deal with Sunderland. And I think we're going to deal with Sunderland. I think we're due a big win. No, we're not due a big win. We got a big win last against Leeds, but we're due a big home win. And I think just with the momentum, the feeling, I think I can just see it. 3 p.m. kickoff, Arsenal just kind of dealing with Sunderland. It won't be easy to kind of break them down at first. I think they'll be robust. They do play a nasty low block and they have the tools. But I think going back to the lineup, obviously, the reason why I want to play Jesus there is because I don't think we're going to be able to just start off crossing the ball
Yeah,
um, to them because they have the tools to kind of deal with that. I'm not saying we can't cross the ball. I'm saying it's going to have to be more those central plays. And I think I like the connection between Eze, Jesus in terms of just that street baller style. You have kind of Fury, Ben White. So you have a lot of players that can kind of play intricate passes. Obviously, we would miss Saka so much in this game because I think that quality on the right and just what he can offer will be big. But I think that's where we can play. And I'll give it, I'm going to go 4-0.
wow, 4-0. 4-0. Okay, okay. We know they give up a lot of goals. I heard you tell me about all this attacking flair, but you really think 4-0, KP?
Yeah, bro. Also, like you have to realize that like I think last week we were efficient. I don't think we were, you know, all guns blazing, but we
Yeah.
got 4 goals. Against Kyrat, we wasn't efficient, but we created a lot of chances. Obviously, less opposition, and I think even in that United game, I think we scored 2 goals. We had a couple of goals that we left on the pitch as well, and that was us not playing well. I think there's goals there, and I think Arsenal have to now enter these next 14 games. I think we only need 11 wins to mathematically make it 11 wins from us. Obviously, City dropped more points, then I think that
Yeah,
changes.
it'll change. It'll be
Just get you to handle your business, man. You got a newly promoted team at home. Yeah, they're in good form and they're eighth, but fam, you got to handle your business. And um, I think after this game, I think we start to enter like not a difficult run, but we've got Brentford away, Spurs away, Chelsea at home
yeah.
within those type of games. So I think City start to enter a bit of favourable games. So
Yeah.
send a statement because the last time we sent a statement last week, City seemed to have rattled City against Spurs. So I'm there. What about you? What's your predictions? What do you think?
I'm thinking I'm gonna go three. No, I was originally thinking 3-1, but I think Arsenal are gonna keep a clean sheet, so I'm probably gonna say 2-0 Arsenal. I think it's gonna be a game where, like you said, it's gonna be difficult to break them down at first. I do think once we get that goal, we're gonna. I don't think we're gonna. I don't want to predict the game and then like bad on us, like speak bad on the team or anything like or talk down on that. But I do think it's gonna be a 2-0 win. I do think we might not get the goals we deserve in this game again, but I do think it's going to be a very, very comfortable performance, a very, very comfortable win. I do think, especially with Gabriel and Saliba back in the defense, I can't imagine the game going here where or less unless we really give that game away like what we've been doing to other teams. I think so far this season, the only reason why a lot of our games have gone helter skelter is because we've let teams back into games. Like it's been majority us shooting ourselves in the foot or literally giving a team a goal that teams have gotten into games with us. So I think it's going to be a very comfortable performance. I think we're going to win this game 2-0. Any scores you like to predict, KP?
Obviously, I would predict Jesus to continue the mini form he's on.
Yeah.
I will hope for Eze goal, and I would say Trossard as well to get back into form.
Uh,
Just on that point though, you were talking about it might be it should be difficult. I think it will be difficult, but I think it depends on the kind of game Sunderland play as well.
yeah.
Obviously, I feel like in that first half in the away leg, I'm sorry, in the away game, they at their ground, sorry, they did come out a bit in the first half. Obviously, the second half, when they got the lead, they sat in a nasty low block. But I think, and I remember, no, it wasn't. I didn't watch it with you, but I remember that second. Did I watch it with you? No, I didn't.
Yeah,
That
we were on
second,
stream together. We did. Yep.
we did, didn't it? That
Yeah,
second half was one of some of the best football I've seen us play this season, in my opinion.
it was. Trossard scored that
And
worldie. Declan
yeah, like we were
pressed,
moving the
run back
ball and
around
shifting that low block well, getting some pullbacks. I remember the Zubimendi crossbar. Like, so
Edouard.
it depends because I thought Leeds were gonna come and play a low block. Obviously, I know that at home, but there was a lot of spaces for us to kind of play through. And I'm thinking maybe there might be opportunities for us to do that. And I think if Eze plays, I think just the characteristics of how we play is a bit different. I anticipate us dominating the ball, and so I want to see how we play in it. Like, I think Jesus should suit that central play. I think if Gyökeres, you can't really interlink so much, so you have to
To be honest, to be
obviously.
fair to Gyökeres, I think his overall game has been improving.
No, it's been way better. Obviously, I'm not going to be honest. I think his overall hold up play, link up play, has been way better. But I'm saying the type of game where I think you got a Dan Ballard and Mukiele, these type of physical guys that we've seen even lock the likes of Haaland up, like where you want a more clever player. I'm not saying that Jesus just gives you that because we fought that against United and he kind of got strapped as well, but I think you got to swing the horn, and I think that's just where I'm at. But I see goals though. I see goals. I do see goals.
I hear it. I hear it. I absolutely hear it. I do think Arsenal will get some goals this game. I'm saying 2-0. I might stick with my prediction, but I'm very, very confident we should be going at 9 points clear.
Obviously,
KP,
shout
yeah,
everyone in the chat to just support a bit of housework. Obviously, shout out Ruffle Dunn if he's still
big
here.
up, Waffle.
Hold the ball is good. Shout out Tim. It's my bro as well. Hope you're good. And Game and Nerd says what? No 3 points against Liverpool. Does he mean Man City? Yeah.
I think they probably mean Man City.
So obviously, shout out everyone in the chat as well. Obviously, I see BBK and Els earlier on. So yes,
Yeah. You guys were in here today. It was a good stream so far. KP, any points you want to talk about before we wrap up? Any points that you think I might have missed that we didn't get to today? That you want to touch
no,
on?
not too fair. Obviously, I was watching earlier when I jumped in. You touched on a lot of some good talking points as well. I know you talked about obviously the wingers, striker, and midfield situation.
Yeah.
I just want to say big up everyone. Obviously, make sure you hit the like button, guys. I'll say that we haven't requested that a lot, so if you haven't, quickly go and do that for us. And also, just I think the main thing I think I was saying this in it, like I want Mikel to pick the teams, which is why like when you heard your lineup, obviously clearly we're on the same wavelength how we think, but that's understandable. Like I want him to pick the lineups based on the profiles that are going to be best suited to take the weakness of the opposition rather than just inform. Like there might be a player inform, but if you know that there's a player that okay, like yeah, Noni is gonna be suited for this game better than Saka, then I would rather him go with that, even though that sounds mad.
Yeah.
Like, or if playing a Lewis Skelly in midfield is better than playing a Zubimendi or Rice, then do that because I think.
Do you think Lewis Skelly has a shot in this game to start? Because again, we haven't seen it so far this season, but with Mikel Moreno going down for potentially the remainder of the season, what do you think Miles Lewis Skelly's future is for the rest of the season? Because I don't think we've talked on this much, on I haven't talked on it on my channel at all, but I haven't talked to you much about this either. What do you think?
Yeah. No, I think it's simple. Lewis Skelly will play midfield. I think you're having Capia Calafiori back, obviously. They can be rotating and being used left centre back and left back, and I think Lewis Skelly can be pushed up there natural position. I don't think he'll play this game. I think this game we have to play. The only reason I rotate And I don't see that rotation as like weakening the side. I think Ben White, Calafiori coming in, and what you obviously you went Martinelli, Everton, Trossard. I don't think that's it much. Jesus, Gyökeres. I don't think it's like we're lessening the quality. It's different style, and I think that's what I credit to the team now. Um, but I don't. Sorry, God.
No, no. What I would say is I might be revising that because I do think now that we have these pairings, I remember this trend Mikel Arteta was doing earlier in the season. It was Lewis Skelly, Martinelli used to play together a lot, and we used to see Calafiori and Trossard play together as a lot as a pairing. And to be fair, both of those pairings were really, really impressive when they played together as a tandem. When you had Martinelli and Mazu Skelly, they played good. I remember the Atletico game was one good performance. I remember against, I can't remember what any game specifically off the top of my head, but I know Calafiori and Trossard again at the beginning of that season early were playing really, really good as a tandem. So if you have both of them fit, I don't see why you wouldn't play with that tandem. So now I'm thinking about him from putting it in that sense. And we're talking about pairings and right matchups for different things. I probably think Mikel Arteta might go with Trossard and Calafiori. But if not, I think Martinelli, like you said, doesn't lessen the quality of the squad. I think credit to Martinelli. His goal scoring has improved this season. I think that's something people haven't really given him a lot of credit for. He's no back. I think he's been not in form all season, like ripping form, but he's been steady and have some steady games this season. He's been very, very solid.
Inconsistent.
Yeah, he's been very, very consistent, especially against Leeds. Comes off the bench or starts. He gets you a goal, gets you assist. His energy was great against Chelsea. Before that, like I said, got an assist against Leeds. Before that, he was a real, real threat against Kyra and these other teams. He's looked a threat this season, and when his place in the starting 11 has come under threat, he's really, really stepped up and performed. So I give Martinelli a lot of credit, and it wouldn't bother me if he started at the weekend. Definitely wouldn't bother me at all.
Yeah, I anticipate, and obviously big up man Martinelli. Everyone knows that's my boy, man. So obviously there's no love lost there. Obviously he just needs to continue. I think he was one of our best players against Chelsea as well. I think Trossard will play because he didn't start against Chelsea. Obviously Martinelli
Yeah,
got the start.
yeah,
I
yeah.
also think, yeah, as you said, the Calafiori Trossard thing, and I think also I'll start as near a strong enough team as we could. Like it is we 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 have only won 1 in 4 Premier League games. We want to look at form on a bigger scale, and I think we need to start building momentum. As I said, I want to go on a win streak, and I think to do that, you got to start obviously play a strong team. Obviously, we got a midweek game against Brentford. I think it's a Thursday game, so there's a little decent rest between, so you can kind of afford to play strong or go stronger, and so decent rest between Tuesday and Saturday as well. So you go strong, try and get the 3 points on the board, and then I think as you go through the next weeks, then I think the rotations based on squad makes sense. Obviously, in terms of like where you can rotate, even I don't mind even if there's like 5 rotations in a week if it means that it's better. But it sounds mad, title race. But I just think sometimes that will be the way we can enjoy and be excited. But I think this game, the White Calafiori coming in, that you could argue those are your starting right backs, and obviously Trossard coming in for Martinelli, just yeah, like it's kind of and obviously Trossard and Jesus coming in for Martinelli and Gyökeres. Right, that's it. I'm down
Nice,
with that.
nice. Well, the final thing I want to ask you, KP, this has been making the rounds in news in the Arsenal space. It's really in terms of football media. I've seen Piers Morgan come out and say this Arsenal squad as a squad, a whole 25-man squad, is one of the best assembled. What are your thoughts about that? And we know both can agree that this Premier League squad is very, very strong. That this Arsenal squad in general is very, very strong. Sorry, but do you think it ranks up there with some of the all-time teams? Is that a bit premature? What are your thoughts about that?
Yeah, I know what Piers Morgan is saying. He's saying full roster of players. He's not just talking about like if you're going strongest 11
Yeah, yeah.
against strongest 11. Even though I think this 11, because especially if I think he's one of the best, and even especially if they win what they could win this season, then there becomes a huge argument where you can't argue against that. But I think if you're looking, yeah, I'm just saying 1 to 25, like you would take the goalkeepers, right back, centre backs, left back, centre mids, the tens, left wings, right wings, strikers. Like you have options there that are great. Like you look at our rivals and guys that are even the next top 6, like they might have a good 15, but like they don't have two, like as we said, I was talking about rotating, and I'm not even. I don't see it as weakening the squad. I just see it as you're changing, chopping and changing for the squad
Yeah.
for the benefit of the team. Other teams, if you're rotating, you can say that the player that you're rotating in is weaker than the player that starts, and or that even if they have different intangibles, it's just the level is different. I don't think that's the case of us, and I think I don't like maybe you can go back to the City teams when there were Centurions, that way you can look at those two in these positions for those type of teams and say yeah. But I don't think even the Invincibles had the same level of quality as this team in terms of throughout 1 to 25, and even many a Chelsea team, United teams, and so on. So I hear what he's saying there. I do agree, and I hear what he's saying there.
What would you say to the point where people are like arguing that, oh, you have to win trophies to say that? Because on paper, I do agree with you. I do think this squad, as a one, we talk 1 to 25. We just talk about rotating the squad, putting Timber on the bench, who I think deserves to be rested as one of the best right backs in the Premier League. In for Ben White, who before Timber was one of the best right backs in the Premier League. You look at the left backs, like you mentioned, the centre backs, Mosquera and Incapia, who also plays there as well, has stepped into their own. Lewis Skelly's a top young talent. The midfield, we talked about Norgard, who's Brentford's captain last season. He is one part of our team, and he could barely get minutes. Zubamendi, who other teams around the Premier League wanted. Rice is arguably up there for PFA Player of the Year. You have players in all types of forms, in great form. So I do agree with you, but what do you think about the trophy argument people say about you have to win trophies?
Like the argument is true, but I just don't rate the argument when it's the only thing people use to rebuttal when you're kind of making a point. Like that means you're not even trying to consider, because that means the minute Arsenal win trophies, which is looking like we're going to this season, then you can't debate again. Like, because then I'm going to throw that point back in your face if you mention any. If Arsenal fans or media members make any wild kind of takes about this Arsenal team post season, if we do what we were meant to do, then nobody kind of rebuttals. And I think that shouldn't be the case. There should always be the ability to rebuttal something or be able to dispute something. You might not be right in your dispute, but you can kind of give reasons why. But I think the way people argue online, I think people argue online with agenda based, so it makes them, if their agenda goes like flat face, you can't really argue because I can flip your argument back on you, and you can't now try and be balanced now because it's
Yeah,
like you
yeah.
wasn't trying to be balanced before. But I agree with it, the sentiment in terms of like if Arsenal don't win anything this season, like, we're not going to be going and flexing saying, "Oh, you have the best squad." Like it will be true, but it doesn't mean anything. But I think once we win the season, then the argument becomes even stronger because you're like having 1 to 25 has led to winning this, and this, and this is. You know what I'm saying so. It's like the final point because you can talk about all the profiles, but then you could be like, and then with that, they've then what achieved this, and this first time in Arsenal's history, or they've achieved this first time in how many years. So, you know what I'm saying?
No.
So,
You and I think, like you said, KP, you've been saying it for a lot of this season. You want to remember the season by a lot, and I think this is where I said people have the argument. If Arsenal continue to win this season, and I mean, listen, I think we're gonna win trophies, and if when we win the trophies, you really don't care as a fan how they really come, especially those first couple of trophies. You just want them in the cabinet to get them over the line. But I do think only argument people might say, and people might look back on this team and really argue against, might be again. I think it might be harsh on the players, but people like to compare or what another player like a Ronaldo might have done in his whole body of work compared to what they did in one specific season. But people might also argue the fact that the team, especially the front three, hasn't scored enough goals. So I think that's probably where the main argument would be in terms of certain attacking players in the squad not putting up the numbers and stats on paper to really rival it. But if you look at defensively, what this team has done, to set the record for people not taking shots on goal. People are not even getting shots on
so
goal.
I got a butt in there, man.
Mm,
That whole narrative about the forward not scoring is
mm,
absolute BS. And like
mm,
anyone watching here, you wanna argue that point, take what I'm saying here right now, yeah.
mm,
Arsenal are the top scorers in the league, or
mm,
second top scorers in the league, yeah.
mm,
I think I agree with the sentiment. Like you want to know, like everyone wants the natural, the normal. One striker that fires, you get to
that
30
fire,
goals. Da,
yeah.
da, da. But if you go look at the Premier League top goal scorers table, like all those teams have like one player there, and no other
No,
player is
they're
anywhere close.
close.
And Arsenal's goals are such shared out. It's like it's actually crazy. Like it's not maybe it doesn't favor anything. Yeah, it would be nice to have a Gyökeres, 10, 15, in and around there. And maybe they might still get there, which is why I don't wait to make takes at the end of the season because you jump too early and then it's like, do you know what I mean? I think, as I say, Arsenal are overly and heavily scrutinized.
Mm-hmm.
Throughout this whole season, I've seen the goalpost shift so much for Arsenal like never before, which is why I haven't been biting anymore. I think before other seasons I was more sensitive and that I've been watching like before it was you must, then it was oh Liverpool look good, then it was oh da, da, da. Then it's like then it's like oh yeah, then it's like oh you're not, then it's like you are, then it's like you're not. Now it's the most boring champions. Then it's like oh you're not good enough. Then it's like I'm seeing the most nonsense things trying to debunk everything. Um, everything that Arsenal do, and it happens so often. Like we win a Carabao Cup game, where the other team plays defensive, and then we're criticised for not coming out to play like when we're not the ones that chase the game. Everything about Arsenal is criticised. We get criticised for celebrating. We get criticised when we don't celebrate. We get criticised everything, which is why I don't care, because if we had the goals now, say Gyökeres had top scorer, it will be, oh, but Saka don't have it. It will be something. So
Yeah,
I'm not hearing
yeah,
anything, bro. I'm not
I hear it.
hearing.
I hear it.
And and the
I
more
see
opposition fans get angry about these things, it's the happier I get now, because it's like everything we're doing is irking. Because let's just be real, they're displaying the anger that Arsenal are actually going to win. So it's like now I need to try and do everything I can to stay in it, because I can't stop it. Before it was like, oh, we're gonna boil it,
Not
or
gonna
City are gonna
win.
come
Yeah.
in, and Liverpool. Now it's like, everyone's looking at City and Villa. You know what are going on with those teams. So it's now like, how do we stay in this? If we then go and score mad goals and beat teams 4-0 like we did against Leeds for the rest of the season, it's gonna be, oh, but you started off the season defensive. Oh, like I'm not hearing any of this, bro.
But that's what I was gonna say. I do think the uptick in Arsenal is gonna start to go up, and I do think those goals are gonna start to come, and I do think those numbers are gonna start to improve for certain guys. I mean, obviously, if guys stay fit, like for example, if Saka's gonna miss a couple of games here and there, the numbers are gonna reflect the games he does play. But I do think Arsenal going forward for the rest of the season are going to start putting on the markers, and I think that's why I said it. I think this is the game against Sunderland. I don't think scoreline wise we might not do it, but I think performance wise and building into that, like I said, I think we're going to build the momentum going forward. I do think, like you said, you want to look at form as a big picture. 1 win in 4. I do think this win is going to give us the momentum to continue to win more games like that. And we saw it 23-24. For me, that back end of the season should have won a league title. We lost one game out of 19 or 18. We were absolutely unbelievable. And I don't know how we didn't win the Premier League title. But
You do,
I
you
do
do,
think
you
that.
do, you do, you do know how we didn't win it, bro.
Yeah, I
We
do.
had
I
a,
do know. I
we had
lived it,
a
so I do know how
treble
we did.
winning, quadruple winning team
I do
that
know how we did.
matched our form when we went into a mad form,
Yeah.
which is why I'm
Nah,
so
you're right.
confident this season, because that's not that we don't have that level of team chasing us or competing with us compared to that. And I've seen Arsenal able to do that. You know what I'm saying? Go over that type of form, but yeah,
Now, and I hear you, bro. I hear you 100%. I do think that form is absolutely coming. But to answer Piers Morgan's question, I mean, it might be a little bit premature to jump it, but I do think top to bottom, this squad is absolutely top. I don't know where it ranks in terms of where you put it alongside the greats, but if you asking me recently, for as an Arsenal team, it's one of the best Arsenal teams I've seen put together from my time watching and my time being a fan. And it's definitely one of the strongest Arsenal teams in a very, very long time. And that's why I think trophies will come this season. Very, very confident of it. Want to go through the chat a little bit. Big up Nancy, big up Miss Nancy, a former teacher of mine. I'm very, very casual football fan. And I learned so much from you guys. Keep up the good work. Thank you, Miss Nancy. Thank you so much.
appreciate you,
Appreciate
Nancy.
for all the love and support. Appreciate for all the support we've shown on the channel. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, people. We're both on the road to 2K subs. So like and comments help this channel grow massively. Absolutely massively. And we love to hear you come into the chat and let us know that you're following us. You're not really an avid fan of football, but you learn from us. Or maybe you love the game so much and you're just here to enjoy what our perspectives on the game, people. All your support, all your comments is definitely appreciated here. Hype and share these videos around. More content coming soon, more streams coming soon. We're gonna try to get out on a consistent basis. But yeah, man, KP. Any final things you wanna wrap up and say? Just remind people of your scoreline prediction, just in case people didn't hear you. KP went
Um,
with what was your result, brother?
oh, the 4-0, bro.
4-0. Slappings. KP said slappings is coming. A slappings is anticipated. A slappings is what we are looking for. I'm going to go with a conservative 2-0, but I would love a 4-0, man. This is one week I would love KP to be right, people. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe. Any final thoughts before we end, KP?
Hey man, let's just enjoy the rest of the season, as I am gonna enjoy the rest of the season. Let's just say that. And everyone, go and smash that like button. I haven't
Come on.
normally I'm a spam for it, but today I haven't asked for it too much. I was late, so I had to be humble. But as you exit the stream, just go smash the like button. Have a
Come
nice
on, people. Hit
night,
the like button, people. Come on.
and I'll see you. We'll be back very very soon, of course, guys.
Come on, we're going to be back, of course. People leave your comment section, leave your predictions in the comment section down below. Who will score for Arsenal? What do you think the score will be? And do you think Arsenal will go 9 points clear? And do you think City will catch up to that? Like, comment, subscribe, people. We'll catch you on the next one. Peace.
Peace.